Could Texas Tech add another high school player to the 2024-2025 roster? It's definitely possible. And in today's video, we'll discuss a player that the Red Raiders have shown interest in from the class of 2024 and the latest transfer portal target. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well. This is the largest community of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the most engaging. Be a part of the Back to 12 fam by liking the video, hitting that subscribe button, and turning on that notification bell. All right. I want to say Austin Massey was the first guy over on the Scarlet and Black Insider that reported in the Texas Tech space that I saw anyway, that the Red Raiders were heavily considering the possibility of adding not one, but two high school players to the 2024-2025 roster. That was before Leon Horner committed. That's one. Maybe this player we're about to talk about is the second. It is Christian Anderson from Oak Hill Academy, a four-star recruit in the class of 2025. He stands 6'1", 165 pounds, and is the 116th best player in the 2024 class, according to 24/7 Sports. I said 2024 so many times, threw me off. But he's also ranked, according to 24/7, a top 10 point guard in this class. He was committed to Michigan, but asked out of his national letter of intent after Juwan Howard, was fired. So you look at his game, and I can't help but think, just because maybe it was due to Michigan being the place he committed at first, but watching him, he reminds me of Trey Burke. For those that don't know, he was a lottery pick by the Utah Jazz and was an absolute bona fide star for the Wolverines in the early 2010s. But that's the kind of game he has. Anderson, not just me watching him, but people that really watch high school tape say that he is arguably the best shooter in the entire 2024 class. Now, he shot 49% from three as a senior in high school at Oak Hill on almost 200 attempts. That'll play. Now, he is a three-level scorer, understands touch, and understands that, hey, he's not the biggest guy in the world. Again, 6'1", 165 is what he's listed, but he finds ways and understands how to get to spots on the floor, whether that's in the mid-range or in the painted area where he can succeed. And I think the biggest thing that stands out from the limited film that I've seen about Christian Anderson is he has an incredibly high basketball IQ, and it never seems like he's in a rush. Like, everyone plays to his speed of the game, and that's arguably one of the biggest compliments you can give a point guard. He's crafty in the pick and roll, and if you surround him with shooters, he can absolutely set those guys up. And again, if he were to land in the Scarlet and Black, Texas Tech has got some shooters on the roster, right? Now, he scored 24 points against IMG, a top 20 team in the high school ranks, and scored 20 points against Mount Verde Academy, two perennial powerhouses in the high school ranks. Now, another aspect of this, because I know some of y'all pay attention to this, some of y'all are degenerates like me, and that's not a jab or anything. It's just, I love it. I absolutely love it. If you follow the social media aspect of things with Christian Anderson, Anderson is followed and follows multiple Texas Tech staffers as well as the main Texas Tech basketball account. So he follows the likes of Coach AC, Luke Barnwell, Buff, and the Texas Tech men's basketball primary Instagram. They all follow him as well. Oh, and by the way, he follows Leon Horner, and Leon Horner follows him back on Instagram. But I'd love to have Anderson as the backup point guard for the Red Raiders. He has similar size to Elijah Hawkins, but I think that they do things very differently on the floor. Hawkins is more of a guy that's a passer. Anderson could be that spark plug off the bench that is still a good passer, but if you need a bucket or two, I think he can play as a true freshman and be a flat-out bucket for you off the bench. So he's a guy that I think would be a phenomenal pickup for the Red Raiders. Not entirely sure exactly where his recruitment stands, but again, Texas Tech seems to be firmly in the mix in a lot of ways, and I think he improves your guard position in your guard group significantly. And he's a guy that can come in as a true freshman, come off the bench and give you significant minutes, in my opinion, with that second unit and not have a severe drop-off from Elijah Hawkins to Anderson potentially. All right. The next guy that we need to talk about is a guy that Kevin Sweeney brought up over on Twitter. His name is Jordan Riley from Temple. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, averaged about 12 points per game last year for the Owls up there in Philadelphia, 11.9 points per game, and even 6 rebounds per game, and averaged 1.1 assists per game while shooting 25.6% from three. Yuck. Throw up emoji on that front. But when you watch his game, there are some positive attributes, and this is really what stands out to me. He's athletic as hell. I mean, my goodness. He may be 6'4", but with his athleticism, he plays closer to 6'7". He's got insane bounce. And he's a guy that started his career at Georgetown, obviously ended up at Temple. He can beat guys off the dribble in terms of getting to the rim and really using that physicality aspect of his game. Solid basketball IQ and can be your primary ball handler in a pick and roll type situation, albeit I think I like him off the ball more as a slasher and a guy that can find space and really just use his athleticism around the rim as an extra rebounder. Now, on the defensive side of the floor, I think he can guard 1 through 3, maybe a 4, depending on who it is due to his size and physicality and just how athletic he is. But you feel a lot more comfortable with him guarding 1 through 3, primarily the 1, because I think with his athleticism and his length and how quick his feet are, he will create issues for opposing point guards and just be a headache for opposing coaches in terms of game planning against. Now, when it comes down to it, I mentioned it, he plays bigger than 6'4" on tape. He'd be an interesting fit, in my opinion, just for the sheer standpoint of this. He's not a good shooter. He's not. 25.6% from three is the highest he shot in his 3 years of college basketball. And it was a significant jump up from his sophomore to junior year where he was shooting below 20%, now shooting 25.6% as a junior for the Owls. He's a guy where I watch him shoot. I think he can develop a little bit better and be a better shooter, probably closer to like 31, 32% max from three. I might be stretching it with that, but I do think there is a role potentially on the Red Raider roster for a player like this as a guy that you can go out, put at the 3, run a smaller lineup, but his athleticism allows him to stay engaged both on the offensive and defensive end of the floor. But those are the 2 names that, well, you need to know for Texas Tech right now. The latest portal target for the Red Raiders is Jordan Riley from Temple, and Texas Tech, they could potentially land another high school commitment in Christian Anderson, an Oak Hill Academy guard, 6'1", 165 pounds. He is ranked as the 116th best player in the class of 2024, was committed to Michigan, asked out his national letter of intent once Juwan Howard was fired. And according to 24/7 Sports, they rank him as a top 10 overall point guard in the class of 2024. He is a very interesting name, in my opinion, and one that I think would be an absolute phenomenal add if the Red Raiders were to land his commitment. All right, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube. Over 10,000 strong. 5 digits, people. There's nobody close to that on YouTube, and we're giving you daily free updates on everything Texas Tech men's basketball, whether it's on the hardwood, in the portal, on the high school recruiting trail. We've got you covered right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.